Hello lovelies, my name is Eric Addish, welcome to my YouTube channel. It's been a while since I've uploaded anything to this channel, and that's because I don't really know what to talk about anymore. When I made this channel I sort of really wanted to focus on the pop culture magic stuff, and I kind of feel like I've said all that I wanted to say on that topic, so now it's like, what else should I talk about? And I've spoken about wanting to talk about wands for a while, but I wanted to really do some research and put something like cohesive together and do several parts to the videos. But I've also told my nephews that I would say hello to them on this channel and give them a bit of a shout out. So hello to Justin and Lachlan. So because of their request for this video, where I told them I would mention them, I feel kind of prompted to actually record something. And so I'm just going to riff about wands for a bit. I think I might just allow this video to be a bit shorter, just a few minutes long maybe, and at a later stage I can sort of really put the research in and do something well formulated. But I guess at this point I just want to sort of talk about wands and how I use them, because when I sell wands, quite often people are like, well, this is great and I really like it, but what do I do with it? So I feel like that's kind of what I'm going to address in this video. So when I sell wands, I now started including with them a little pamphlet. So you bought your first wand, and I just sort of go over some details. So it's just like a mini zine. These things are really cool. I got one from the Sun Cult in Melbourne when I went to one of their meetups, and like it's just such a cute way to put together a little bit of information for people and have something that I can give to them and say, here's some information about how your wand was made, the specifics of it, and also like what you can do with your wand, and maybe some things for them to Google or to look more into. You know, I mentioned things like sigils and stuff in there, but I don't really explain what a sigil is, so you know, like it's leaping off points for people to look further into things. So I find that that's been really cool to start including when I do sell wands, because quite often as well I'm selling them to parents who want them for their children. So it's nice to give the parents some information about like what it is and is it dangerous, or you know, those sorts of things, because people do worry about that kind of thing. You know, I sell Ouija boards. I started selling them recently, and I went to a market and had them out, and so many people were like, "Ooh, demons, demons," and it's just really interesting to see how people react to my products, and even the things that I would think are so benign, like magic wands, people are still standoffish because they see them as having that occult virtue, I guess, and there is that potentiality there. So I find that really interesting, you know, as a magical professional. In relation to wands and how to use them, though, normally the first thing that you'll hear when you hear about wands is that they're associated with the element of fire, sometimes air, and they represent the magician's willpower. And I do like that, but it's kind of lacking to me. When we talk about the magician's will, I quite often, because I work in the Solomonic system, and that's where my professional magic is done, I tend to use a lot of like biblical stories and biblical references to help people understand sort of what it is that I do and how to frame what that looks like. And I quite often mention like the rod of Moses, like, you know, the staff that he carried, or the rod of Aaron, but as well, like in the earliest depiction that we have visually of Jesus Christ, we can see him wielding a wand turning water into wine. And so there is that connection there. And much as a tree connects the heavens and the earth, the staff, or the wand, because of course the wand is just like a miniature version of the staff or the wand, they connect the heavens and the earth. They are the divine being drawn down. So it's kind of like, in Kabbalistic terms, you might think of like the lightning path in the Tree of Life or something like that. And so it's that light emanating down and coming down into Malkuth, and that's sort of what we're seeing with the wand, is that we're drawing that divine will down, and so it's our will, and, you know, through the process of travelling up the Tree of Life, we sort of get back to that sort of Godhead, or, you know, you see that as well in like rites like the Abramelin, where you're bonding with the guardian angel and things like that. So there is that aspect to it, but I think as well, the wand is made from wood, and so like giving like a bit of a broader pagan association to it, you know, there is a spirit within that wood, and so part of my work as a wand maker is to bring that spirit sort of back to life again. So I sort of see that aspect of it as well, and so when we're working with the wand from an animist kind of perspective, we are working with an individual spirit, and so that spirit aids us in our workings. Now, as a symbol of the magician's will or the magician's authority, the wand is also used sometimes to strike the altar, and this is an act of authority over the spirits that we're evoking, and we can use that to ensure that they appear in a pleasant form, or to, you know, to speak the truth, or, you know, whatever it is that we're trying to do. We can use that as a sign of authority. I'd say as well, maybe this is sort of a chaosy, magician-y kind of mindset. So I mean, all of these things kind of influence me, and I think about wands in a very holistic way. The actions that I take are Solomonic, but my mindset, I think, is definitely inspired by other things as well. So I think as well, like, when we're using a wand, you know, a lot of people will discuss it as though it's an extension of the magician. And I definitely appreciate that, and it can resonate with that. But I think as well, like, when we are casting or evoking or whatever it is that we're doing with the wand, I feel as though there is a certain level of protection there, something between the magician and what they're dealing with. And the wand kind of takes a protective place for backlash from maybe spells miscast. And I feel like maybe that's also influenced by like my pop culture magic approach as well, because that's quite often how we see them in fiction. Right, is, like, if you're casting a fireball, would you rather the stick you're holding blow up, or your hand which you're casting with? Like, I've seen that sort of circulating on the internet as well. So, I definitely have that aspect to it as well, I think, when it comes to the wand and how I sort of relate and interact with them. So there is that protective quality, and I think because the wand is a spirit in and of itself, the magician can simply speak to the wand, can work with the wand as a spirit in and of itself to achieve whatever it is that they're trying to achieve, you know, through that sort of animistic approach to the wand. I think the only other thing that I sort of want to talk about, you know, in regard to the wand at the moment, is sort of going back to the Abramelin rites. You see in that last 7 days that it's on the wand as a mark of the magician's authority. It's on the wand that the demons would actually swear allegiance and subservience to said magician. So I think that, you know, the wand, Rune Emerson as well actually often quite talks about how we wield contracts with our wand. The wand is how we wield the contracts. And so I think that's definitely reflected in that grimoire way, where it's on the wand that the spirits actually swear to serve the magician. So I kind of think that's interesting as well. So I feel like that's a lot of information just thrown at you. But I think as well, like, when we're talking about wands, and I think this is part of why I love them so much, and why I really made that one of my foci when I was sort of coming to what kind of products and services I wanted to offer. When I was looking at wands, our earliest tools, our earliest weapons were sticks. And my mind can easily make the connection that, of course, they would have been the first tools that we used in magic. And I think that's why they hold so much power to me. There's some sort of ancestral mindset, ancestral memory, that tells me that there's power, there's functionality in this stick. Which, of course, you know, I can recognize sounds kind of crazy from an outside perspective. And I guess that's the good fun of it, you know, the muggles think we're all the same. And, yeah, I guess there's power in this for me, there's something there, and I think, you know, the works of Gerald Gardner talking about how the athame is the true witch's weapon, I think it kind of overshadows the wand in some ways, in some spaces. So I feel like there's, yeah, a real lifting up in my practice and a real focus on the wand that maybe isn't seen in other systems or other people's practices. So yeah, I hope that this has been informative, or at the very least entertaining, and thank you to Justin and Lachlan for asking me repeatedly to film this video. I've finally done it, so I hope that you guys are happy about that, and I hope to speak to you all very, very soon. Until then, bye.